Hi everyone, and welcome to this new Gamersa Live, a very special one, since we are going to show you a game we already did show you yesterday, A Plague Tale Innocence, but this time we are not showing you just the game. We've got some of the developers with us, well, at least one for the moment. The second one we should join us quickly. If you are a fan of Gamerside, you already know him because he's already done quite a few live with us. It's Olivier Derivière, a good friend of us, and he was in charge of the music on the Plague Tale Innocence. So, hi Olivier.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, and as usual, we've got Driftwood and Dafton with us.
Do we have Dafton in English?
Why not?
Oh, why not?
Great.
Wow. Hi everyone.
Sometimes.
And hi Olivier, and thank you again for joining us. You're like our only special guest, but we love having you.
Well, because you're very special people.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a good or bad thing, but yeah.
Yeah, define special, but yeah, it's true. So we're back on. Probably shouldn't say the Plague Tale. If we're French, and every YouTuber in France say it's a Plague Tale. That's a French pronunciation, horrible pronunciation. So maybe you should call it that. And well, every single one of us, we're going to ask you questions, but you are welcome to. It's going to be like those commentary when you explain everything you did for the game, and we're going to launch the very first chapter. And I'm not going to show.
We've got someone joining.
Oh, we have someone.
Yes, we've got Aurélien who is muted. So Aurélien is the audio director for the game. So obviously audio is not going to work correctly for him.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh,
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
there's some echo also. Probably.
Audio guys.
Yeah.
Is it okay? No.
Yeah. No, we still. I can still hear me through your speaker.
That's very odd.
And I will watch them eat my dust as I forge ahead. But for that, I shall need a good horse.
You've been going on about this walk.
Hello?
Yeah.
Just.
The apple tree, father.
No, we even hear you with a slight echo. So
Because you're not 10 years old anymore, you know.
Oh, please, father. I've trained hard for this.
All right, let's go.
1, 2.
Oh,
yeah.
No
Oh.
echo.
No
yeah,
echo.
it's much better.
Okay.
Great.
It's better.
Oh yeah, the quality is awesome.
Definitely. Cool.
So, welcome, Aurélien. Could you maybe, because everybody knows Olivier, because he's Olivier first, and because he's always our guest when there's a game coming out, and he's responsible for the soundtrack. So, could you please introduce yourself to everyone and to us?
Yeah, of course. So I'm Aurélien Piters. I'm the audio director on A Plague Tale. I've been working with Azobo for like 10 years. So we worked on quite a lot of games, quite different from A Plague Tale. But mostly we did work on Record, some work on games for Pixar, like Kinect Rush or Ratatouille and stuff like that.
Great.
Okay, did you work on Go-Red on Fuel back in the day?
No,
No.
I came just at the end of you,
Okay.
like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a long time. So
Yeah.
you are from Bordeaux or the
yeah,
originally?
Something you both have in
exactly.
And I saw for the people outside of France, well, I'm sure everyone knows Bordeaux because of the wine. But yeah, Bordeaux is in the southwest part. Well, not really completely south, but still much better weather than in Paris, at least.
Let's keep
Yeah.
going.
Well, it rains quite a lot in Bordeaux.
It's true. It's
Yeah.
true.
So could you maybe tell us what your work is about when you're audio director on a game like A Plague Tale, which is all about immersion and story? Did you were you in charge of the all the ambient sounds? Like I'm guessing yes. And did you have anything to do with voice acting? I know it's a specialized like sort of company who did that. But so were you in touch with them? Did you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we worked with Side, a great company for voiceovers. So they are handling like the castings of actors.
Yes.
On our
father,
side, we
I
are
know.
validating the casting
If only she
and
could come
stuff
with
like that.
us.
In terms of audio director, most of the work I do for the voiceover is more about the mixing. Sometimes telling like we need to do some retake on some lines, but we are also working with the narrative design. Okay, this line is not working. We need to do some more takes. Or this actor is not good. We need another actor. As for the VO work, it's most of the job I do. We also work a lot, like you said, on the ambient side of the soundtrack. And I also worked with Olivier as for the music implementation and stuff. It's more on the technical side to help Olivier make his work shine for the soundtrack.
And I have
Which
you.
is
So
for me, everything in the game is like everyone working on one element is trying to make the others shine. This is the way I felt when I played.
yeah, exactly. We feel on this game everyone was connected. I mean, the soundtrack wouldn't be as good if there wasn't the visuals and everything was. We tried to. Everyone was doing best as they can, like on every game, I guess. But yeah, everything was connected. Without the visuals, the soundtrack is not working as good, and without the soundtrack, the visual are really is less immersive, of course.
Obviously, and
Yeah.
working with someone like Olivier is, well, must have been also interesting because he's always very, let's say that, like you said, I don't know where I saw that, probably on Facebook, like you, Olivier, telling people that you'd played the game, or maybe telling just me on Skype that you'd played maybe the game for 200 hours and that you actually play your games and you just don't, like compose the music and then leave.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, I can talk a lot about this. As an audio director, I've worked with a lot of composers. With Olivier, I mean, he's really invested in the game. Like, I mean, no other. It's crazy. He's playing the game like crazy and always sending feedbacks. And it's awesome. I mean, most of the time, depends of the composers. They're always in the project and they like the game. But Olivier is playing the game like
I accept your
like
challenge.
like if he was a member of the team at Azobo with us.
I
So
thi-
yeah, I can talk a lot about this, but the thing is, Olivier also knows a lot about the audio interactive system, the music. I mean, he knows how interactive music is working. Like, he uses Wise, the audio engine, and it's just very, very useful when you have someone who understands the interactive music. He knows what he needs to do. He knows what he needs to deliver, make it shine in the game. So yeah, quite different.
So Olivier, when you look up your name in the dictionary, it's written like interactive music. So how did you approach the game? Approach all your games differently, and I'm curious to know what you. I mean, did you have the soundtrack in mind? Did you know exactly what you?
No, there's a good story. So number one, the way I approach a game is always the same. It's because I ask about the gameplay first, and then whatever, if it's a story or if anything that we need to support. In this very narrative-driven game, A Plague Tale, we had to follow up, with the story. We have some stories about this. But what's so funny is that Aurélien just sent me a few days ago, I don't remember, he sent me a picture taken in September. Was it like 2017? No?
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And we were like at Asobo, and we were on the board, and we were like noting on the big board with creative director David Deden, Aurélien, and myself. And we were making the plan for the music. So it's like, number one, instruments. So this instrument is for this instrument is for that, and it was like almost 2 years ago. And what's so funny is that now that the game is done, you watch at this board and everything we did was there. Everything. It's crazy.
I thought you were going to say everything we had decided has been changed since then.
Yeah,
Then.
that's what is quite surprising. In video games, most of the time you keep changing stuff, but as for the music, I guess the game was at a point where Olivier was producer of what he wanted to create. Of course, there was a lot of change, but as for the musical direction, it was here. Oh yeah.
So just a second to listen to maybe the sounds of the forest, because that's something that you don't quite pay attention to it while playing, but sometimes the music just is, you know, there's not music all the time, and the soundtrack knows when to, you know, give place to the
Shut
rest. And yeah, shut up, exactly.
Let me just put some more volume then.
So if you close your eyes, it's like you are in the forest.
Yeah, it's a French forest. It's exactly the sound I live. I guess you recorded this in near Bordeaux,
What did you smell?
I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was most of the time. It's
gosh.
like a blend of many stuff,
What a good
like
dog.
some recorded sounds, some sounds that some specific birds that we take from some specific very sound libraries. It's but the thing is, the acoustics that you hear, it's like we recorded the reverb of specific forest.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a bit of
I grew up not too far from Bordeaux in Corrèze, and
I've run out of
we went to get mushrooms often with my parents, and it really reminded me of the forest in Corrèze.
yeah.
So, yeah.
It's really the intention. Yeah.
Yeah. Clearly.
What's very rare, working with. Wait a second. Working with Aurélien was like very unique because I don't know, maybe it's because he's French, but also he's very good. He's one of the best I've worked with because he doesn't overdo things, and he does with very much delicacy. And I think this game needed a lot of delicacy and needed to have like purpose for everything. And you don't hear like the footsteps so loud. You don't hear like everything so loud except for the sling, very loud, which makes sense because that's a gameplay, thing.
Okay.
And we had to work together, and for the first time maybe an audio director didn't put like the music minus 6 dB, like
Yeah, it's
soften
true.
the music.
I was
I
going
was
to say.
like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, you can hear the music. It's that's why I was asking because I remember talking to you, Olivier, and I'm not going to name any games, but when you told me that sometimes what you had in mind or what you had prepared was not used as you would have liked, and as I was playing A Plague Tale: Innocence, I felt like he has to be happy with this because that's really exactly using the music when it should be used, and like I said, playing without it, it's like you play Silent Hill and you play without the music, without the sounds, and it's not scary at all. And here it's the same. So you go from that peaceful atmosphere, it's just very quickly, suddenly the place is gloomy, and the music also starts to sound pretty scary, but it's just like a subtle change in the mood in the music, then it grows, and when the rats arrive, it's like when Darth Vader arrives, more or less. You have the Imperial Rat March, more or less, and I really thought that as when I had to play some of the chapters again to prepare videos, it's like you realize, like, okay, yeah, I remember the music, I remember the sounds, I remember everything, and it's not something that you see a lot, even in movies. Sometimes, like, just you don't pay attention to the
Movies are
soundtrack.
dead.
well,
I like to take some bold stance like this.
Well, yeah, you're not going to work in the movie business now, I can tell you that.
That's okay.
These bridges were almost new.
No,
Someone's
but
not going to be happy.
the way you work with someone like Aurélien is number one. At some point we were like on a daily basis together working on the game,
The trees.
and
What
the
did
most
that?
difficult part is not
Leo, come
really
here.
it's to know what to do in terms of tone. That's
Mm-hmm.
the most difficult part, the whole game. So we had to know. I mean, and you can tell, and this is a game process.
Leon couldn't
Like
have done
sometimes they
that.
would change something, and it would be like, if you do this,
Come here.
it will change the tone. So about the dialogue, about the scenery, about the
Mhm.
color here. Or when you go from the forest, like the light side and then the dark side, that was something,
I'm
Mhm.
here. I'm coming.
isn't it, Aurélien?
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes I mean, the game is changing, and the audio need to move on with everything that the game is doing, and I mean, as for audio, it's not a secret.
Who did this?
It's not easy to be involved really into the game process, but on this game we had the chance to be here from like the very beginning of the game, and we had the opportunity to make the audio a part of the design of the game. So we were able to be adaptive and to change stuff. But yeah, I agree. It's not always easy to adapt to all the changes in the game.
You know that.
Can you say how much different sounds you created for the sling?
Yeah, I have the voice session. I think it's like 50 sounds, I guess, something like that.
How
But
many?
50
50.
50 wave files.
Yes.
And because there's the random stuff, we don't want the sling to be always the same. There's some voiceover, like we play the Amicia scream, and the scream of Amicia is interactive. I mean, if you're killing someone and you are attacked, there's like an anger screams, and if you are killing someone from behind, you don't want to be caught. So Amicia is not making any screams. So yeah, it may be very natural when you play the game, but there's a lot of work involved with the sling, because you can craft in this game. For example, the last update of the sling is making no noise. So we don't want to play no noise in the game. So it's like a subtle. So yeah, the sling was quite complicated to make, because I don't know many games with the sling. I think. I'm not sure, but I think with only one with the sling, and it was not so easy. I mean, there's a lot of shotgun in games, there's a lot of guns, there's a lot of knives, but sling, it was quite different.
Sure. Well, something I wanted to say about that scene about where the dog is disappears. Well, not to give away anything.
Disappears, yeah.
Yeah. You know that it reminded me that horrible. Well, and I don't mean horrible in a bad way. Horrible scene back when I was a kid and I was watching the never-ending story when the horse disappears, and that's actually something that my wife still says. She doesn't want me to show the movie to my kids because she said, no, it's a horrible movie, and she doesn't even remember there's the wolf, which is even more scary than this sequence. But it's what happened to the dog was like very reminiscent of it's the never-ending story again, and I'm going to be very sad for a while.
But why? We had this conversation yesterday with David, the creative director, and it was about why people care more about a dog than a human, because just a few minutes later, something very bad happens, and nobody cares.
Because
the dog, everybody cares.
Yeah, because dogs and animals in general, and by the way, kudos on the pigs, because they're amazingly realistic and cute, dirty but cute, and then what you do to the pigs also gross. But dogs don't die in stories usually. People die, so we're used to that. So that's why if you kill a chicken, it's probably people don't mind because they don't like chicken anyway. But dogs, it's important. So you don't kill dogs, you don't kill children, you don't kill anyone that would shock people. That's why, Olivier. It's just the story of Hollywood.
What is interesting, in the game we have a quick sentence. It was crude middle age, and and I think that's it for the directions and the narrative choices. We wanted to make it like crude middle age.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's not a happy place. It's not a place you'd like to visit on holidays. But
it's what is interesting. It was also a problem for the music. I remember that we don't want to put the player with always dark music and
Mhm. It's true.
always. So we needed contrast. So we had to find some places to make okay. The orphans is where you get more the nice music and more colorful stuff. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's it.
So let me show you something a bit more colorful than that we showed a little bit yesterday. But I'll show the passage from Innocence to the horrors of the adult world, and that's I think it's chapter 4. So maybe
in
we
the
should.
meantime, I have a question for Aurélien. Do you also do the foley?
Yes,
Innocence?
yes,
Yeah?
yes.
Because
Yeah.
that's something I've always found fascinating. That how
Come on,
using
we'll walk
some
from here.
really
It'll warm you up.
strange and simple stuff you can find everywhere. You can do sounds. That's
Yeah.
that's
Nothing.
completely different from
Just rocks, Hugo.
what they should be.
Yeah, and
Seems well.
what
Let's
we
keep our
wanted to
fingers
do as
crossed.
for the Folly is do something discreet in video games. Most of the time, it's like crazy loud and crazy. I mean, like Olivier said, the footsteps are crazy loud, but
Mhm.
I mean, it's not really most of the time interesting. So for the Folly, we
Aren't you
developed
cold?
an engine
Little.
for the Folly
Yes.
system.
Hugo doesn't seem to mind.
It's because it's really important. It gives presence to the player and
Yes.
stuff, and
But he's too
it's
far
based
for
on
my
the
liking.
bone movement of the character. So each time Amicia is moving like his body or his arms, triggering a sound depending on the speed of the movement and stuff. So it really helps with the character immersion. But we needed to do something subtle, like I said, because we didn't want to sound like every other game, like with loud footsteps, and you hear every part of her armor and stuff. So yeah, Folly, it's funny that you talk about it because most of the time it goes a bit unnoticed or
Mhm.
something we really worked on. And yeah, most of the time you spend your time recording
Hugo?
like some
Where are
stupid
you
sound,
going?
like
Yeah.
taking some leather dress or whatever. You take some very
Hugo!
short sounds and you modify it and you put it in the game. Sometimes it doesn't work. Most of the time it doesn't work, and
Sure,
sometimes
sure.
oh okay, it's working, and yeah,
Yeah.
it's something we really worked in this game.
I remember watching the making of the Lord of the Rings movie where they put they did show a lot of the audio work they did on the movie, and it's always something that people take for granted, the sound
Yeah.
and everything is creating from scratch. Well, you can use sound libraries, but they are all been so much overused that you know, oh, I remember this sound, it was in Doom or whatever.
Exactly.
So-
Yeah.
And something interesting here
English.
that I wanted to show is
Where
that
did you find that?
yesterday we showed that scene,
Listen,
but
Hugo.
I stayed on the main
Write
path,
that down.
and Hugo arrived on the main path with a shield. And here I went on the left, and he still popped out from the grass, and that was actually very nice because it's a scripted thing, but that will not happen at the exact same place, depending on where you walk, and that's something at least I haven't noticed much in other games, even in bigger games. So it's a small thing, but it's still a big thing. My next question was to ask you about the rats, because you were talking about Folly then. So what did you use to do the rats?
It's funny, for the rats we use a lot of pig sounds,
Mhm.
but we modified a lot, we pitched a lot, and we used a lot of effects. The problem with the rats is we wanted to have something very organic, and so we needed to have some animal presence. So
Mhm.
we used some horses that are eating.
Oh.
And for the screams, yeah, it was mostly like some pig screams modified and a lot of the interactive system with the state of the rat, because we needed it. We wanted the rats to be alive in the game, so it's like a state machine. Like the rats can be angry, they can be eating something, they can saw you, and when they saw you, they are like spitter. They are. I don't know how to say it in English, but
That's the sound, guys.
But actually, yeah, you
cracher. I don't know.
spit like spitting sounds.
I can make it. Yeah. and the thing is, the rat system is really on the audio side is really connected to the gameplay. So informing the player about, okay, if you're going this way, they saw you and you will be eaten. So yeah, it's not only the recording of the sounds, the sound sources, it's also how you implement it in the game. And sometimes it's really important to make it work on the implementation side too, to make it shine on the audio side. Oh
Okay,
yeah, mostly pigs and horses for
So
the
you
rats.
you do like pigs a lot in a soba.
Oh yeah, really, yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we had to do some pigs. I think they were part of the first mission we did. We did because we worked a lot on some vertical slice and stuff, and so there were even some. We did some work with pigs infected by rats, and we were like, okay, it's too fantasy. We can't
Okay.
do that. So at some part of the development, the pigs were even a boss in the game.
Oh,
So,
really?
And it was not fitting the game. Yeah. So it's not always like, oh, okay, we have this idea, it's great, it's working. No, no, that's not the case. So yeah, the pig is that's where the story of the pig came. I think.
Okay, so Olivier, back to you. I was staying still here with Amicia because the music was getting louder, and it was getting darker, and as I stopped, it's it's still in the background, but it's less present. So
Waiting for you.
yeah, waiting for me to actually see the horrors of
Yes.
of war of this world of the Middle Ages. So can you tell us more about this track maybe, and then maybe you can tell us, because the rats are coming.
Maybe we could put some more volume to.
Yeah,
the,
sure,
what's
sure, yeah,
going on?
please do.
Just for a few
No,
seconds.
but it was, and by the way, that was like one of the first shoe that we created. And the path is very, it's a very linear game.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you have area that you can wander, roam into little places. And for this, it was a little complicated because when we did this, it was for a presentation, like a public presentation. So we know that the path would be like fast and, this much of, time and this way. But when the game was produced, it became much bigger and much more difficult, for us. So
Mhm.
we had to make sure that the music, if you get off the path, that the music would follow up with this.
Okay, and then it's
Okay.
it's like more quiet all of a sudden again, despite the
Yes.
sight.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it stops when you see things, and then when you walk on them, you have this sort of
Just keep moving.
melancholic and war music, because we didn't want the music to be horror based. We wanted the music to be more about, being some kind of not a parent, but almost like this, to the kids, watching them and feeling them, like feeling for them, like, oh, that should be tough, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I understand.
That's what, yeah.
I'm
For the
sh-
rats, it was very complicated as well. The music and the rats. That was hell.
Well, actually, when the rats are there when the music kicks in, so that you did a great job. So how do you approach it? Because rats are supposed to be scary, but they're also very they don't stay in place basically.
Well, we had to iterate a lot on the rats, if I remember well, Aurélien.
Yeah.
It was, you know, Eric Marie Couturier, who is the cellist, he's like a magician of effects and all of this, and we worked a lot on, you see when the crows are going away, you hear the music, all is in sync. And for the rats, so there is so many textures that we created for the rats, so it wouldn't be too boring. I don't know, but in the end, we got rid of most of the rat textures, I think, because it was just becoming annoying at some point.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the same problem for the sound too on the rats. The thing is, there's a lot of rats in the game, and when you always hearing the same screaming and again, and you getting crazy because it's like in very high frequencies,
I don't know.
and so we had to find some system to avoid this. And when the rats are in the same state, like attacking you, like from 10 seconds or around that, the sound is subtly going away, the screams, and you just hear the foley of the rat, like only the steps of the rat, to avoid this kind of situation where you always hearing the rats loud and clear, and it's super boring and super irritating. So I'm quite happy with that, because it was one of my biggest worries, that okay, we don't want to mess up with the rat sounds. We needed this, yeah.
And you did an incredible job. Yeah.
Yes, you sure you did.
I was afraid, like some reviews today, to say, okay, the rat sounds, they're boring, and there was no reviews talking about that. So I'm touching.
The reviews are well, I don't know what you expected, but I found them quite good for.
Yeah, well, I think they're great, but
it's double A game and not triple A, and you got like 80% on basically all the Meta critics and Open critics and whatever. So yeah, well, I hope you guys are happy. We at least enjoyed the game a lot. I didn't play it, but I know that the other two guys with me really loved it.
oh yes, we did.
Thank you, that's great.
I don't know, honestly.
You never know how the players will react. So since even yesterday we were like, okay, we don't know how players will react. It's quite hard to know.
Yeah, and one question, especially with this level, we were talking about it yesterday during our live, and this level, especially, it's almost seemed like we are playing in a concept art. It looks like a concept art that's actually moving. It's not like it's technically amazing, but it's great. Especially with this, you have your own engine, but the way the lighting works it's really like a painting or a concept art. You'd see in early when the game is announced, and you'd see like this, you say, okay, yeah, that's a concept art, but it's actually the game. Was it something that you I know you're doing the audio, but you still work with the others. Is it something that you actually did consciously, or is it just
No, it's a mistake.
no, but it could be just the end product of the way you did with the engine and things like that.
Yeah, it's another Olivier in the team, Olivier Ponsonnet, who also worked like for like 10 years. He's a crazy good artist and concept artist. And I think I can speak for the art team, but I know they worked from the beginning. The lighting was something they wanted to really work, and it's all about the lighting. Like you said, we have our custom engine, so we don't have always all the latest tools and stuff, but we can do whatever we need. So we said, okay, we put everything on the lighting, and Olivier knows what we need, because he's a very tech guy. He's not only an artist. He knows what we need to do on the engine side, and we also have some crazy good engine programmers. So yeah, obviously we are not able to say, okay, we want to be the best in everything. No, we can't.
Yeah, you're not
like
Naughty Dog.
45 people. So Yeah, exactly. We're not Naughty Dog, so we had some ambition, but we, at some point, we need to say, okay, we want to do that, and we can do everything. So yeah, the lighting, but I'm pretty sure Olivier, we will be able to talk more about it. But the inspiration was paintings. I know that from the beginning it was something that they wanted to do.
Okay, that's I love hearing that. Okay, so we are already 10 minutes late for the switch to French. So I don't know if we have some. Well, the last question is: are you guys happy with the reviews so far?
I mean,
Very
we are.
disappointed.
no,
We're
no, we are.
expecting to be like over 92.
Yeah,
No,
obviously.
Well, especially Olivier, who's used to getting
Yeah,
92s.
hit games.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, well,
No,
my pleasure.
It's a beautiful story because, like I said, we are working in the industry for quite some time. We help a lot of studios, and we had the chance to work with Focus on this. And I mean, they trusted us for everything. It was like carte blanche in French. I don't know.
Okay,
I
you
would
can say
it.
carte blanche in fact in English.
It's
It works.
so, but yes. So it was crazy nice to say, okay, we want to do that. Okay, do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
In fact, when we saw the game almost 2 years ago at Focus Event, oh,
Well,
we can,
yeah, I
we can
sort of
stop on a
missed.
fail as we usually do. So yeah, when we saw the game
We
2 years
never do
ago,
that.
our guy was there, asked I don't know who if there would be a French dub, and the reply was we don't think so. Maybe. So did Focus actually believe in the game so much that they put some more budget for the dubs and everything?
Yeah. I think at 2 years ago it was like very far away. The game was beginning. We had some pretty good elements, but it was not in the state as it is today. So yeah, they believed in the game, and we even have the German dubbings.
Yeah, it's
And the
true.
thing is that Focus did the thing very well. We had a very nice budget to have some very good French dubbing. And what is very cool to see today is that most of the people, the French people,
Yes, of course.
they play with the French dubbing. And it's crazy because most of the time French people that are in the gaming and stuff like that, they say, no, I will play the original in English. And now they are playing all in French. So,
Yeah, and
that's quite a
It would
success
make
for
sense
us. And
for a French game that happens in France to be played in French.
Yeah, of course. But at the
still,
beginning, yeah. But the thing is, when you play the game in English, you can hear like a French accent in the English acting.
It's
Because
true. Yeah.
at the beginning, yeah. So because when we did some tests with like a London accent and or American accent, and when American people were seeing churches with an American accent, and it was like, okay, what the fuck? There's some churches with American accent? No,
Oh,
it
yeah,
doesn't
true.
fit.
Yeah,
And when you say,
doesn't work.
and when you see some French neighborhood with the church and stuff, and with the London accent, it doesn't work. I mean, you're in London, so we said, okay, we can try to hire some bilingual actors. Most of the actors, or most of the cast, are speaking French in English in the English version. So yeah, we use the French accent in the English voiceover.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, we'll
I
talk
mean,
more
your
about
explanation, it makes sense.
the French
so
version.
we
in
are
French.
going to switch to French. So we'll be back for the people who are watching. We'll be back in French, donc en français pour les Français ici. Donc dans une petite minute. Well, in a minute, sorry. in a minute, just to stop and start the recording. So back in a minute. See you guys.
The guys.
Thank you.